Mr. J. Today we're talking about the G7 summit in Canada. It's our intermediate video for Monday, June the 16th, 2025. Like I said, Canada. Our AI pic shows some of the leaders at the G7 summit, the G7 meeting in Canada, very important meeting. It's good news. I think it's good when leaders are meeting like this to talk and make decisions about the world, maybe. All right, let's see our words. Summit. It's like a meeting, right? A very important meeting. Leader. Peace. Energy. Digital. Conflict. Missile. Diplomacy. Tariff or tariff. Security. Grain. Tension. Unity, statement, and nuclear. Okay. Canada is hosting the G7 summit, which is a big meeting of leaders from the world's richest countries. The G7 controls, right? The G7 countries control almost half, like 50% of the world's economy and money. So it's a very important meeting. The summit is from June 15th to 17th in Alberta, that's Canada. Prime Minister Mark Carney is the G7 chair. That means he's the leader of the meeting, okay? The goals are to talk about peace, new energy, and digital changes, and ways to work better together. But a sudden war between Israel and Iran has changed the plan. We'll talk about that tomorrow, but yeah, there's a war happening between Israel and Iran, a very bad war. And so now the leaders need to worry about that. The leaders now focus on safety, diplomacy, and keeping oil and food prices stable, things like grains. U.S. President Donald Trump has made some leaders upset with his comments and new tariffs. Because of this, they will not make a joint statement, only a short report from Canada. Usually the G7 meeting ends in like a joint statement, something that they're saying together, but maybe not this time. They also talk about Russia's war in Ukraine and problems with nuclear weapons. Many side meetings are happening between leaders, including with Ukraine's President Zelensky. I think the president of Korea too went there. He's going there. The summit is serious and tense, but leaders still hope for unity. So do I. Okay, where is the 2025 G7 summit being held? Remember, this is our intermediate level, so these are all wrong answers. You need to think of the correct one when you do the test. Which conflict is changing the G7's plans? Why is there no joint statement from the G7? Which U.S. leader is attending the summit? And what is one major goal of the summit? All right, this week we're going to do game words, game-related words. We have game pass and a non-game pass. Both are important meanings that you should know. Pass, game pass, to give the ball or object to another player during a game. All right, non-game pass, to succeed in a test or to move beyond a place or stage. Okay, here we go. Pass, here's the spelling, and it's easy enough to say one syllable, pass. Be careful, you don't want to say paz, that's wrong. Pass, the S like this, pass. Okay, one syllable. He made a quick pass to his teammate just before the goal. She studied hard and managed to pass the final exam. Okay, weather for tomorrow in Brazil, high of 27, a low of 17, and it will be mostly sunny. For Mexico City, Mexico, a high of 24, a low of 14, and it will be partly rainy. And for Seoul, South Korea, a high of 26, a low of 17, and partly cloudy. All right, we talked about the weather, pass, and the G7 in Canada. I hope everyone has a good Monday, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.